Sam Darley here, and today, being February 10th, February 14th, Valentine's Day, is the day of where pitchers and catchers report for spring training. Really, baseball season's around the corner, and when pitchers and catchers report, February 19th is when full team workouts begin, and that means spring training games will happen soon, and then we'll have the exhibition games, and we'll have the regular season. Teams are still making their moves in the offseason. The Cubs signed Yu Darvish to a monster contract. A very risky deal in my opinion, because Yu Darvish has kind of struggled with injuries the last couple of years, but also, he was clutch for the Dodgers last year down the stretch until the World Series, and that was nothing was going to get to. When the pressure's really on, he really folds, and he came through for them in the playoffs, in the playoff run until the World Series, and everybody feels like he tipped his pitches. But again, the Cubs just kind of signals that they're not going to be able to get Jake Arrieta back, which is sad for the Cubs because 2 years ago he won the NL Cy Young. He struggled last year, but he's still on the market. That means he's probably soon to be signing with somebody soon, probably New York, maybe. Houston's still been linked to him and has been linked to him in the past. Maybe Houston gets in on it on the Arrieta sweepstakes, but obviously after trading for Garrett Cole, it might not be in their plans, especially because they're so right-handed dominant in their rotation. Other than Dallas Keuchel, who's their lefty, and then of course they got the young Forrest Whitley, who's a lefty. They don't really have a left-handed pitcher outside of their bullpen in rotation. They only have one lefty and one. They have Francisco Liriano, and they have Dallas Keuchel, and that's really it. They still have Tony Sipp. Although I think Tony Sipp, if I recall, is not with the Astros anymore. So they don't. So the Astros really are thin on left-handed pitching. So that being said, I really think teams have obviously geared the team beat the Houston Astros, who won the Astros World Series. And again, I know I ragged on Luno and Hinch in the past, but they both really stepped up big down the stretch for the Houston Astros, especially the playoffs. Hinch outmanaged Dave Roberts in that World Series, and Houston obviously won it in an epic 7-game battle, and now Houston's looking to win another World Series with their hashtag Never Settle. They're not satisfied with just one. So with that being said, I think Houston is the favorite to go back-to-back, but that's not to say that there aren't other contenders. I think the biggest threats to Houston in the American League are the Yankees and the Red Sox. The Yankees and Red Sox, though, do have inexperience at manager, and that does play a huge part in October baseball. Especially when you have to make key decisions in a crucial, the seventh inning of a crucial Game 5 of a playoff series. Playoff series is really where managing comes into play. It's a chess match. It's really about making the right moves late in the game to put your team in the best position to win. So, and Hinch has really improved as a manager, I think. And obviously, he's much more experienced than he was when he first got to Houston. He's kind of gone through ups and downs as a manager. He missed the playoffs a couple of years ago, won the World Series last season, and this year he's looking to repeat. I think the Angels are a huge challenger in the Astros in the AL West. For the Houston's probably gonna win that division, but the Angels are going to be a major threat, especially if they can get their pitching healthy, and they continue to play defense. They've got a very solid lineup, and they've got an experienced manager, and in my opinion, they got the best player in baseball, at least the best outfielder in baseball, in Mike Trout. So that being said, I think the Angels are not a team to sleep on. But really, baseball is a sport unlike the NFL and the NBA, where if you just get into the playoffs, all bets are off. Really, all bets are off. October is just a crazy month of baseball. It's great. There's nothing like playoff baseball. And if you just get into the field of 8 teams, then you give yourself a shot to win the World Series, obviously. But in the National League, the Dodgers are still the top dog. But that's not to say that their division is going to be very competitive. The Diamondbacks are much improved. I think the Rockies are going to continue to improve, take a step forward. The Milwaukee Brewers, no, not in the NL West, but they're a young team out in the NL Central. I think is a team to watch for. But again, their pitching is kind of suspect. I like the young talent, the lineup. I like their athleticism. I just don't like the pitching. And really, when you're in the playoffs, you don't really need. You need good pitching. You still need good pitching. I mean, the World Series obviously was kind of crazy, especially in Game 5. But for the most part, it took a dominant bullpen. It took clutch pitching from the Astros to win that series, and that's really what you need. You need timely hitting, clutch pitching, and great defense. That's what wins World Series. And obviously a manager that can make great late game decisions. Hinch has, I think, has a very deep bullpen. Astros are very good on the rotation. That's why I think Houston is the favorite to go back to back, barring a letdown in terms of championship hangover and injuries. But there are teams that are in the mix, and then obviously the Giants, being in an even year in the National League, they are a threat to get back to the World Series. They've got Matt Baum, they've got Evan Longoria, they've got Andrew McCutcheon. I think the Giants are very much a threat for at least a wild card spot. And of course, like I said, if you can get in the playoffs in Major League Baseball, you give yourself a shot. And like I said, all bets are off. It's crazy. And it's October baseball, like March Madness, is one of my favorite times of the year in sports. So to me, I still think the Astros are probably going to go back to back. I really do. I like the rotation. Their bullpen is a lot better, at least on paper. Again, you don't play the game on paper, and they still got a good lineup, and they still got the veteran leadership with McCann and Justin Verlander. Now, of course, I do expect Justin Verlander to struggle early in the season because he struggled early last season, but got stronger and got better as the season progressed, and was very good for the Astros down the stretch and in the playoffs. The Yankees are going to be there. It's gonna be a good year. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of good teams in the mix. Really not. I don't think there's gonna be a clear-cut dominant team. I do think the Indians will take a step back. I think the Twins in the AL Central will be a team that will be kind of a team to watch for, but not really. But they're pitching like the Brewers. That's just too suspect for me to really believe in them in October. I don't believe in the Nationals anymore. I've seen enough playoff baseball to know that they're going to get into the playoffs. One, because the division is horrible. And two, I mean, they're just a good regular season team. They'll get to the playoffs, and then they'll just disappear. That won't change. They're not going to be a threat. So really, outside of the Twins and the Nationals, anybody can win the World Series. I do think the Dodgers and the Astros are by far the two best teams in each league, but they're not leaps and bounds better than everybody else. They're teams that can really challenge them, and I think it's going to be a fun season. I'm looking forward to it. I will say about the slow off season. This is what happens when your sport is not salary capped. The reason the NBA off season, and the NFL off season moves along quite quickly and efficiently is because they're salary caps. Like, they're both salary cap leagues, and same thing with the NHL. Baseball just has a luxury tax, and I don't think teams kind of care about that. But when they're not salary capped, it does create the whole incentive that players want these monster contracts, and teams are just not willing to pay them. That's the issue. And that's why you've seen guys that are still unsigned, like Jake Arrieta. And, I mean, Udobers signed today, but it's been a very slow offseason. And, until baseball puts a salary cap in, I just think we're going to continue to have these sluggish off seasons. I haven't even seen news of J.D. Martinez signing yet. So, I mean, he's still a 30 home run, 100 RBI guy, and that's a guy you could use in your lineup, especially if you're missing a bat, if you're a bat or two away from winning a championship, or if you feel like you're a bat away from a championship. So really, the sluggish offseason is really more about the sport itself being uncapped, and just now teams are just not willing to pay that $400-500 million contract. So, that being said, that's going to continue to be a reason why baseball is sluggish in terms of the offseason and the lack of efficiency in free agency. So, baseball is back. If this is exciting, it means And of course, that means the NBA playoffs are around the corner. Also means the NFL draft is around the corner. And then, of course, you got rugby coming to the United States. Major League Rugby League will be kicking off in an inaugural season in April. And then you got And then you kind of got a dead period around, I think July and maybe June. Is it June, July around? Yeah, there's usually a dead period between when there's the middle of baseball season and then training camps. So, NFL training camps is after the NBA. It's really after the NBA Finals when sports kind of hits a dead stop. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited for baseball season. The Astros are the prohibitive favorite in my opinion, and I think the Dodgers should be. I think we could have another Astros Dodgers World Series, and that would be absolutely epic repeat. It'd be nice to have an encore of that because that was a great series. So we'll see what happens. Baseball's around the corner. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you for watching.